Desperate Democrats hoping to avert disaster are now turning to the president to bail them out in key midterm races and deliver a powerful closing argument. Oh, we're not talking about that guy. It's Barack Obama to the rescue. The dynamic duo are expected to get back together and bail out Democrats in Pennsylvania. Obama is sure to be a welcome sight because back in D.C., Joe Biden has all but checked out. Instead of barnstorming the country with a flood of midterm rallies, Biden was getting his updated COVID booster shot and yammering on about the pandemic he said was over. He's just no use to his party, who were struggling hard to deliver a coherent message. But top Democrat strategist James Carville thinks his party can be saved. But there's a catch.
If we keep this kind of NPR foundation strategy of identity left politics, we're going to lose. I'm telling the same elite coastal people, forget everything. We are going to advertise and push the fact that they want to throw people off of Medicare and Social Security, and they want to shut the government down to do it. And that's how you win.
You know, Dana, it was, I believe, in November of 2021 that James Carville started talking about the wokeness and said that these people who are woke need to go to a woke detox center. And nobody apparently listened to him. But it seems now that we get the feeling that they're starting to spin a little bit. Is it too late?
It is. It's very hard to turn around a campaign in 2 weeks when you've spent all of this money, all of these ads, all of your focus has been on one thing, let's call it abortion and election integrity, and not the things that people were talking about. Actually, you could chart the fives A blocks over the last year, and that's actually what people were worried about and talking about: the economy and crime and the border. Actually, so those three things, and they didn't do that. So they made strategic decisions that they're going to have to live with. So the Pennsylvania Senate seat is interesting to me for a couple of reasons. It was in 2010, Obama lost that seat. He wasn't able to save it. That was after Obamacare got passed. And so now, they're trying to send him back there in order to try to see if they can pull it out. I don't know if that will work this time around. The Senate Leadership Fund has an ad out right now that has the Bucks County law enforcement officials saying directly to the camera, if you want your family to be safe, don't vote for John Fetterman. Wow. And so they're focused on the issues, and they didn't waste a whole bunch of money in June and July. They have the money to spend here. I understand that some of the money that's coming out of New Hampshire in order to be able to really help push Oz over the top in Pennsylvania. So tonight, the debate is important, but still, I think all the work that the Republicans have done up to this point to narrow this gap to where it is today sends Biden to Pennsylvania, but I don't know how much that helps Fetterman. I believe that it just showcases Fetterman's vulnerabilities. You know, Jesse, Fetterman, this is the first time that he's appearing with Biden, the fundraiser they had the other day. But what's interesting about Pennsylvania is I was looking at what is most important to Pennsylvanians. They said inflation in the economy. Second thing was abortion. Third thing was voting rights. Crime wasn't even in the top three in Pennsylvania. How does that bode for Mehmet Oz?
Well, the economy's still number one, so that's been his main message. And he has touched on crime, and he's visited Philly. And you got to put the work in to get out the black vote in Philly and Pittsburgh. And that's why Barack Obama's there, to turn out the black vote in those two cities. I don't think there's a lot of black passion for Joe Biden. I don't see a lot of black passion for John Fetterman. He chases blacks with shotguns, and he hasn't campaigned for months. Oz is actually going to these places and getting his name out there, and Oz has great name recognition within the black community. So it's going to be tight, and I don't think Barack's there at the right time. Where's Barack Obama been for the last year? He's late. He's like the guy, when you're cleaning up the kitchen after a big dinner party, after 45 minutes, Barack Obama comes, how can I help?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay, where have you been for the last 45 minutes? So this isn't going to do it. But Barack Obama, for legacy reasons, needs Joe to keep the Senate, because once these investigations start into the Biden crime family, it's going to come out that the Biden family was taking Chinese cash during his time as VP, right under Barack Obama's nose. That's not going to look good for the former president.
You know, Geraldo, you laughed when Jesse talked about Fetterman chasing a black with a shotgun. Yes, but that is true. And Fetterman, you know, was reported on doing that. I mean, it was not. It was
when he was mayor of Braddock. I mean, to
let's
set the
talk.
record straight, he campaigned against violent crime, and under his watch, for 5 years, there was no murders at all in that heavily black.
What's that
town.
got to do with it?
Fetterman worked
Hold on.
it. Fetterman worked it, and he brought down crime. Listen, I just on the
You
bigger.
haven't answered the question about his chasing a black man with a gun.
I think that he has explained it to the extent that he can.
So
People buy his explanation, and they don't
so
buy the
you
explanation.
admit that he did it.
I don't
You
think there's any
admit that-
question
Good,
that
thank you.
there was a gun and a black guy.
And he
but
was wrong.
He may have been wrong. That's your assessment of
No,
it.
it
Let me
was
just
everyone's
say
assessment.
broadly, climate change and transgenderism gets you elected class president, not senator or governor. So the Democrats are finally seeing the light of day. Government's first job, and I understand this latest poll out of Pennsylvania, doesn't have crime up the top. I sense it is. The most important job of government is to keep people safe. The second most important role of government is to make people feel safe. It's the sense of feeling security as much as it is the fact of being safe. And nothing has, in New York State, for instance, to shift one state up, nothing has helped Zeldin more than that video of the black guy pushing the kid with the knapsack onto the tracks. And it's played on a loop on local news. We play it on, city kids' nightmare is that exactly, being pushed onto the tracks of the subway. So I think that the Democrats have their work cut out for them. And that it's all that crime, and plus it's the price of a gallon of gas. I think that that's very important.
And, you know, Greg, tomorrow we'll be talking about the Fetterman-Oz debate. But the curious thing is that Geraldo just said something about, you know, it's important that people feel secure. You know, that just reminded me of the perception thing with Mayor Adams. You know, it's a perception of crime. It's feeling secure. The truth is that people are not secure. People are not safe.
Yeah, I think, the Senate race in Pennsylvania is going to be close. I'd say it's neck and something that looks like a neck. But I do think Joe and Obama together, it's a perfect pair. They're the yin and yang. Joe's poll numbers, are gone to the dogs. And Obama eats dogs. Call back 12 years. I had to do that. I get the importance.
I don't get it.
It's okay.
He did.
Yeah, he ate dogs.
Was it Indonesia?
He ate dogs. We can't
forget.
forget that, and I'm never going to let America forget that. So everybody keeps talking about the Democrats. It's really important they have a message, and it's kind of sad that you can't naturally be something because you're so bad that you have to come up with a message. The problem with the Democrats isn't their message, is that their party's has fallen apart. Geraldo was right. The Dems have to admit to themselves that oppression theology, non-binary gender, bathrooms, indoctrination education, that stuff doesn't work, right? This is the wake-up call. You have only so much shelf space in your head. And in that shelf space are the adult issues. Crime, economy, border. What happened is they pushed it all out and they replaced it with this kind of attention-seeking Twitter hot issues, the stuff about gender, the stuff about race, changing the names of schools. These are not things that people sit around and talk about at their, quote, kitchen table. So what they're learning now is that they forgot about America. Yeah. And there's nothing that Obama can do for them. There's nothing that Joe can do for them. But they got to do it for themselves because the fact is, this is their QAnon. This kind of this identity politics obsession is their QAnon. They have to clean house. No matter what we say, they're not going to listen to us. That's why they didn't listen to us about the 5. If they listened to us about the 5 for 2 years, there wouldn't be a crime problem. So it's up to them to listen to themselves. Listen to the Carvilles. They're the ones.
And not only that, listen to the New York Times. Yeah. It says it's time to switch tax and start talking about inflation, which the Dems exacerbated.
Yeah, and stop eating dogs.
But when they talk, they're willing to, even if they talked about it, they're not willing to change policies, though.
Yes.
So
you're right.
on inflation, they keep saying that Republicans are going to make it worse and everyone else in the world has it just as bad as we do. That's not talking about it. They have to actually change the policy.
I think the most important person in the the failure of the Democratic Party is George Floyd. I think that once he was murdered, the country went crazy with defund the police and everything else. So the Democrats led the charge, but very, very unrealistic.
Not the country, though, just a part of the country.
segment.
Not
You know,
even
the
half.
Black Lives Matter, the organization, not the movement.